All right, in this video, I'm going to be going over the 5 most surprising things that people have told me that they experienced when moving to Tuscaloosa. I'm Phil Duke Jr. I'm a real estate broker here in the Tuscaloosa, Alabama area with eXp Realty, and this is the Living in Tuscaloosa County YouTube channel. I make videos on here on a weekly basis about what it's like to live here and what's going on around town. And if you are watching this video, there is a good chance that you are considering making a move here. Either your child, sending them here to college, or maybe you're looking to invest or do a combination of those, right? And there's not a ton of information out there on the internet. That's why I made this channel. And so if you like this video, I've got a whole bunch of others telling you all about what it's like to live here in the Tuscaloosa area. And at this point in my real estate career, I've helped hundreds of people buy, sell, and invest in the Tuscaloosa area. And the longer I've had this channel, the more people I've had from out of state who, they find these videos, they click the link below and they schedule a time on my calendar, or you can even just scan that QR code down in the corner there and set up a time where you and I can talk about what it is that you're thinking about doing, what your timeline is. And Alabama's a buyer beware state. You need a strong real estate professional helping you through the process, whether that's me or whether it's somebody else. And I'd love to interview for the job. So click that link below, scan that QR code, find a time that fits your schedule, and we'll do a phone call or a video chat, whatever works best for you. But these are 5 things that people have told me when they moved to Tuscaloosa or when they were thinking about moving to Alabama. These were 5 things that were pleasant surprises that they found during that process, right? Maybe they had never considered Alabama. Maybe they, always thought, Alabama, it's down in the South, and it's going to be poor and it's going to be dirty, and people there are not educated. And I think most people, once they kind of really look at it, I think Alabama is one of the most underrated states in the country for a variety of reasons. And these are the top 5 that I want to share with you today in this video. So number 1 was how much house they could get for the money, right? So, the last couple years, the real estate market really across the country went up, 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 and it certainly happened here. But still today in 2026, right, filming this video in June of 2026, real estate prices in the Tuscaloosa area are still very affordable compared to most other parts of the country. And it's pretty common that when folks, reach out to me, let me know, hey, Phil, we're looking to relocate. We've taken a job with DCH or Mercedes or the university or any of the great employers here in town. One of the first things they're trying to figure out is what is their budget going to be. And most of the time they are pleasantly surprised with how much house they can afford for the money, right? I mean, you can have prime real estate. I'm talking, waterfront on Lake Tuscaloosa. You can have, a city loft condo overlooking downtown Tuscaloosa for a fraction of what those properties would cost in much bigger metro areas, right? So, you can kind of be the big fish in the small pond, right? Tuscaloosa is still a big, small town, and there certainly are a lot more expensive properties here than what there was when I was growing up here, right? My family and I, we moved to town in 1996, and back then it seemed like there was like one main subdivision that had big, giant, expensive houses. Now they're kind of all over the place, but relatively speaking, all right, when I look at prices in other cities, other metro areas, Dallas, Texas is a good comparable. Nashville, Tennessee, Tuscaloosa, Huntsville, Alabama. Those are some of the biggest relocation areas in the country right now. And Tuscaloosa is probably the most affordable out of all those. You get the most square footage for the money. You can have nicer features, great school zones, and you're not having to settle, right? So that's number 1 is, I didn't realize I could buy that kind of house. I was looking at what my salary was going to be in Tuscaloosa. I didn't really know if that was going to be enough, but now that I've looked at it, I can live pretty good in Tuscaloosa. So that's number 1. Number 2 is Southern hospitality is a real thing. I have experienced this myself. right? In my time in the service, in the military, I've gotten to travel all across the country, all across the world. And people here in Alabama and in the South in general are more friendly than other places I've been, right? It's very common if I'm driving down the road and I don't even know the person, but I'm driving this way and they're coming this way, there's going to be a wave, right? Somebody's going to wave, say hello to you. When you go to a restaurant, you're most likely going to be greeted with a smile and a pleasant greeting, not a rude, snarky, like let's hurry up and get this over with kind of thing. Normally, a little bit of banter back and forth. So, Southern hospitality is a real thing. You don't experience that everywhere. I remember when I was stationed in Arizona, and I love Arizona, by the way. I still visit there, frequently. Not as much the last 2 or 3 years, but for a while there, I was going to Arizona, once or twice a year. I was stationed there for a while, and I love Arizona. It's a great place, but the hospitality was not there like it is here. I can tell you that people here are much more friendly, much more polite. Will help you out if your car breaks down on the side of the road. You just wait a few minutes. A good old country boy is probably going to come help you change out your flat tire. Right? That's just the way it goes here. That's the way people are here in the South. We look out for each other. We're friendly to each other. There's none of this political division the way that like the mass national media would want you to believe. It's just not that way here. And so that's been something that's been a pleasant surprise for a lot of people. Number three, Alabama has more to offer than you might think. So here in Tuscaloosa, I'm looking out my window here. I can remember after being stationed in Arizona, I can remember flying into Birmingham to come back home. And I can remember just how green everything was here, right? So many trees, so many lakes, rivers, ponds, right? There's so much water here. All right. When I was in Arizona, where I was stationed at Fort Huachuca, Arizona, there was a couple little small lakes there, but you had to drive like an hour away to take like a fishing rod and go, fish somewhere that actually had fish in it. Whereas here, you just drive down the road. Like, I'm a big fisherman, have been since I was a kid. I can remember like just going on road trips, with my family and just like looking at all these ponds, these little private ponds that people had, on their own personal land, and just thinking like, man, I'd love to go fish there. Wonder what kind of fish are in there. I bet I could catch a big one there. But it's more than just lakes and rivers and streams. We have mountains in Alabama, believe it or not. But the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains start in Alabama. So if you've ever gone to maybe the Smoky Mountains, Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, Gatlinburg, Tennessee, maybe even like Blue Ridge, Georgia, Ellijay, Dahlonega, those kind of areas, somewhere where you could rent like a cabin in the woods and have a hot tub, at your little private place out in the woods. We have that in Alabama. Right? Check out Mentone, Alabama. Check out Florence, Alabama. Check out my favorite spot is in the northeast corner of Alabama, Bryant, Alabama. There's a beautiful hillside there that looks over a big lake. The lake is in Tennessee, but the cabins are in Alabama. It's my personal favorite place to stay. It's called Paradise Point. I'll put a link down in the description so you can check that out. We've got that in Alabama. We've got mountains, we've got lakes, we've got rivers, we've got streams. And from Tuscaloosa, right? I was just there 2 weeks ago for Memorial Day weekend. We've got beaches in Alabama too, right? From Tuscaloosa, you can be at the beach in about 4.5 to 5 hours, depending on where you go and which route you get there. And I'm talking like beautiful, sugary, powdery sand beaches, not hard, rocky. I'm talking soft, easy to walk on, fun to build sand castles in. The Gulf of America is down there. You can get in the ocean there. The Gulf, I guess there's a difference between the Gulf and the ocean. It's the Gulf, right? The water's not crystal clear like you would see in the Caribbean Sea or like you'd see at one of those Caribbean islands, but it's still a beautiful spot to be. It's a great place to see sunsets. You can see dolphins and all kind of birds, and you can walk the beaches, find seashells, hop in the pool. So Alabama has a lot to offer that you might not realize if you've never really sat down and thought about it. You also, within just a couple hours drive from Tuscaloosa here, in 3 hours you can be in Atlanta. In a little over 3 hours you can be in Nashville, Tennessee. In 3.5 to 4 hours you can be in New Orleans, Louisiana. So if you're looking for somewhere just to have like an overnight trip, a weekend trip, a weekend getaway, you have so many options in Alabama, and even within Tuscaloosa, there's a lot of things that you can do. So Alabama has more to offer than you might think. Number four is the cost of living, right? Just the overall cost of living. For here, we're a pretty low tax state compared to other places. Check out the property taxes around like Dallas, Texas, and Nashville, Tennessee. You're talking $3,000 to $5,000 a year just in your property taxes. Here, your average is $800 to $1,000 a year. So the cost of living, the cost of going out on a night in the town. You can go down downtown Tuscaloosa, eat get you a great burger and fry, lunch or dinner at Mugshots, for example, for $12, $14, something like that. You can go to somewhere like Hokkaido, hibachi, Japanese steakhouse where they cook in front of you, $20, $22. you know so just overall the cost of living here, it's pretty darn affordable here compared to other places in the country. Has it gone up? Yes, it has gone up, like everything has gone up, but still fairly low compared to a lot of the other relocation destinations that you might be considering. And things are a little bit more expensive here in Tuscaloosa. We call it the roll tide tax, right? Houses are going to cost a little bit more, especially the closer they are to campus and to downtown. But still, relatively speaking, compared to the rest of the country, we still have a pretty low cost of living. And then lastly, number five is the weather. Right now, we're getting into the summer right now, and I'll tell you, the summers here are hot and they are humid. And once it gets hot, it stays hot for a long time. Right? We're talking about like middle of May all the way through maybe like mid-October. It's hot for a lot of the year, but that allows you to do things outside, right? My family and I, me and my boys, we like to play golf. You can pretty much play golf here year round. All right, we have a golf membership at the Links, which is a local golf course here in the area. It's not really a country club. It's just a golf course that has a membership, very affordable membership, by the way. We play once or twice a week, pretty much year round. We swim and we go out on the lake. We fish, right? We have a boat. We live close to Lake Tuscaloosa. We don't live on the lake. We live on a small farm about a mile from Lake Tuscaloosa, and I like the fact that I can come, have a day of work, and I can be done at 4:30, 5 o'clock. And in 5 minutes I can have my boat in the water and I can fish from 5:30 to 7:30 or later in the night. In fact, I think next week I'm going to do a night tournament. I think I'm going to fish from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., a little 3-hour night tournament on Monday night, and it'll be dark for maybe the last hour of it, but up until then it'll be daylight, and it's not too late. It's not spending a whole Saturday out on the water, but just a little short trip here or there. We do have cold weather as well. It does get cold here. We do get snow periodically. Maybe once or twice a year we'll get a little snowstorm. We are not equipped here to deal with snow the way other places in the country are. People make fun of us here because it snows at a half an inch, 2 inches, and everything closes down, right? Schools close down. Employers will tell you just stay home. It's not worth it. We don't have snow plows. Our local governments don't have the equipment, and why would they? Why would they spend a bunch of money and time and energy in having snow equipment when it might happen once or twice a year, right? So normally what happens, we have a snow day in Alabama, we stay home, We get out in it in the mornings. We take pictures. We take videos. We let the kids have fun. We build a little snowman, and by noon or by 2 p.m., it's already starting to melt and it's pretty much gone. Right. So I like having a little bit cooler weather, but I don't like freezing. Right. I'm a deer hunter. I have friends that love to go when it's like freezing cold. To me, if it's like 25 degrees or below, I'm not going. And luckily for me, that only happens here maybe a handful of weekends during the winter season. If it gets cold like that here, it doesn't stay cold. It's very common here that in the wintertime, the temperatures are in, the 40s or the 50s. And we'll have some days that it drops to the 30s. We'll have some days that it even drops to the 20s, but it does not last a long time. So if you're looking for a place to escape the frigid cold, the 3, 4, 5, 6 months or more of the calendar where you could get snow, Tuscaloosa is a great option for you. You're going to be hot in the summer. It's going to be humid. Stay inside the air conditioning or stay by the water would be my recommendation to you. But really, for people like me that enjoy being outdoors, Alabama has a climate that allows me and my family to experience the outdoors pretty much year round. And that's really special to me. I love being on the golf course with my kids. I love being in the pool. I love being on the lake. I love being in the woods in the fall and in the winter. And there's really not much of the year that I can't find something fun to go do. A sport that we can do, some kind of fish or some kind of animal that we can go after. We love the fact that there's always some kind of season going on in Alabama. And so those are the 5 best surprises that people have found when moving to the Tuscaloosa area. I'm Phil Duke Jr. with eXp Realty. Again, if you're watching this video, you're thinking about making a move, click that calendar link below or scan the QR code. Let's chat. Let's have a conversation. Thanks for checking out this video. And please like and subscribe to let me know. Comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out.